Today marks the 90th DC Multiverse review that I have uploaded onto this channel, and what better figure to look at than the Arkham Knight himself. And without further ado, before I dive into talking about the accessories and of course the figure, let's take a quick look at the data profile card that is included to find out who the Arkham Knight is as a character. And as you can see, there is this beautiful action figure photography for the photo. There it is. His real name is unknown, which is not entirely true because if you have played the Arkham Knight video game, you will know that he is Jason Todd. And it reads, besides the discovery of a militia training facility in South America, virtually nothing is known of the Arkham Knight until his arrival, which I think that's a typo, in Gotham City, where he quickly earned himself a fearless reputation amongst the city's leading criminals. Working together with Scarecrow, he has sworn to destroy Batman and will stop at nothing until he is defeated. And that is a good read-up on Jason Todd's Vengeance arc story. And now let's talk about the accessories that are included with this figure. So he comes with these two grenades, as I like to call them, because they look like grenades. And there's that. He can hold these in his hands, but there is no way to store these on the figure properly. But if you do look at the side here, there is a strap that has a little bit of exposure, and you can technically hook this over so you can have it look like it's stored on one of his straps where he can carry these. That's an option. As for the other accessory that he comes with, it is the grapple launcher, which is the same one that comes with the Arkham Knight Batman, I believe. So there's that. And that's pretty much all the accessories that he included. There are no gun accessories because, of course, this figure was released during that period before they struck the deal with the whole not a toy 17 plus age rating thing to bring back gun accessories with DC action figures. So in this case, if you want to give him gun accessories to hold in his hands, well, you do have options. If you have that deluxe accessory pack from Mcfarlane Toys, or just in general any gun accessories that can work with a 7-inch scale figure, well, you can hold them because he does have trigger finger hands. Alright, with that said, let's talk about the aesthetics of this figure. And one thing you will notice right away if you've never seen this figure before is that he looks nothing like his video game design. And what I mean is that the colors are not the same. So in his video game design, he has more of a camel design for his pants down here. He has a little bit more blue. He has a bluish visor on the top here that's supposed to be a little bit translucent. There's just a lot of colors that are missing on this design of the figure that makes me wonder, where did this design originate from? This is a very interesting looking version of him where I do like the details, but just the fact that some of the colors are missing makes me think, why is that? So if you do have an answer to this, like you know that this is based on something else, do let me know in the comments below. So in terms of the overall design and sculpt work of this figure, I think they did a really good job here. I want to start with his pants because look at all those texture that is sculpted on there. That is so good to see. I like when they do that for most DC figures. They give them details so it's not too flat looking. And then down here by the legs, he does have the leg armor, which is really cool to see. There is a little bit of battle damage. However, in this case, I don't like the fact that they use soft PVC because you can see how like soft it is. This should have been hard plastic so it fits the, overall design of this armor, because it's supposed to be a hard layer armor that protects his legs. So I don't like the fact that this is like really soft plastic. But you can see the battle damage paint that they applied to it. And if you're a customizer, you could probably go back and add more battle damage marks on this figure to make it look better. Now, in terms of his shoes down here, they're pretty simplistic. There's nothing crazy with the design of them. One problem I have with this figure, because it's a running problem with every copy of this figure when it came out, was the fact that his ball joints down here are very loose. So it's not that the figure can't stand, it's just that the loose ball joints really makes it hard to pose sometimes because of the fact that he'll just fall over. So I don't know what happened there, but I don't like the fact that this is really loose. So just want to point that out. In terms of some of the details up here, I do like the fact that he has these belt straps where he's carrying things, such as these little pouches that probably have a lot of ammo in them. These are probably more sort of like grenade or canister stuff with things inside that he can throw. On this side, he has another pouch here, which I don't exactly know what that's for. It's probably to store something. So there's that. And on the back side, it goes on to the back, so you can see more of the straps. And there could have been a little bit more details on here, you know, some silver maybe to kind of make some sort of contrast with the straps and the belts, because I don't think they're all completely black like this, right? So those are details that could have been added. As for his torso area right here, I do like the insignia that he has, because that's exactly what it looks like in the video game. If I remember correctly, it's supposed to be the letter A to represent Arkham, right? Like his name that he goes by. So pretty cool that they did that. And I like the fact that this armor up here is like kind of like a protective layer for the front part. And you know for a fact it's bulletproof, right? Like this guy is highly well equipped with equipment that will protect him from bullets. So there is that. And for his arm gauntlets, I do like the way that these came out. The overall design here is not too bad. But again, the paint on here could have been a little bit better, right? Like it could have been more of a gunmetal gray than this lighter sort of gray that they used. It's not completely a light gray, but you get my point, right? So, but I do like the sculpted details. And up here on his shoulders, you can see more armor pieces right there for his costume. And of course, his shoulder armor. And this is another thing that I don't like. So, even though I like the idea that it's a softer plastic, so it doesn't hinder the articulation, it's way too soft of a plastic, which can warp. So as you can see, on my copy, it is warped a little bit because of the fact that it's so soft in material. And to make matters worse, on this side, mine has a QC problem where this is just ripped up. I don't know what happened in the packaging or what happened in the factory, but yeah, this is like ripped. Like somebody accidentally cut it with a scissors. So, not good, right? That's like really bad. So in this case, if this was a harder plastic, it would have been a little bit better, I think, because it's not hindering the articulation completely, because it's not on the top of the shoulders right here. So, that's pretty much it for the details on the front side. And in terms of his head sculpt, not a bad looking head sculpt. Like, you can tell that this is the Arkham Knight just by looking at this design. And I like the fact that they made the eyes blue, like it looks like it's glowing. And I do like the details of the helmet. As you can see with the ears over here on the side, I like the fact that there is still that continuation of that sort of battle damage sort of look. And he does have a little bit of a collar up here with connecting to the back part of the armor that is covering his shoulders. And speaking of the backside of the figure, as you can see up here with the torso, there is some details right here to show the spinal design, which is really cool, right? Because a lot of mech armor tends to have this, and I like the fact that they incorporated this into the design of a suit. And this could, of course, be painted with a different color to make it stand out, in my opinion. So there is that. And that is pretty much all the aesthetics on this figure. It's the same texturing from the front side all the way to the back. Down here, you can see a little bit more details with his boots, but overall, the front side is where most of it is. And the overall sculpt of this figure is pretty good. I think whatever source material they took for the design of this figure, they made it the best that it can be, based on whatever that source material is. Okay, let's talk about the articulation on this figure. So, he does have some articulation, and it's not completely all bad. Let's start with the head sculpt. He can look up pretty good. That's not too bad. He can also look down. Not exactly the best, but you can get him to look down decent. In terms of turning his head, that's no problem. In terms of tilting, that's not an issue. So head articulation is okay. As for his arms, they do go out a little bit, but as you can see, that does hinder the articulation. But it's not even the armor piece. It's just the fact that his joints run into the shoulders. So that's why I can't go into a full T-pose. Swinging his arms, he can do that, no problems. He does have bicep swivel. He does have the double jointed. And of course, he does have swivel in the hands and wrist articulation. So that's not an issue. As for his torso articulation, it moves really good, as you can see. Like, that is really good rotation, which is nice in terms of leaning forward. Not going to be the best, because this front part right here, where his armor is, this is a soft piece, but it also acts kind of like an overlay. So it is going to hinder him leaning forward at all. So, yeah, that's not good. In terms of leaning back, that's not a problem. I think leaning back has never been an issue. And this is exactly the weird thing about these figures all the time. Sometimes they can lean back really good. Sometimes they can lean forward really good. And sometimes they can't do anything at all. So, in terms of his waist rotation, this part is really tight here, but it does move a little bit. It doesn't really want to lean back or forward, so the waist is pretty much just meant for rotation, and there's that. As for the legs, this is where the articulation pretty much becomes kind of bad because of the straps. So as you can see, this strap goes all the way down here to the top part of his leg. So if you're trying to get him to do the splits, you're not going to get him to do anything at all, because if you use too much force, you could probably break this, and that wouldn't be good at all. So he's very hindered by the fact that the straps do get in the way. Like kicking forward, for example, you're going to run into that, right? Same thing on this side, you're going to run into this. So in terms of mobility, not the best. Double jointed, yeah, that works. There's no problems there. And of course, down here with the feet, there is swivel, there is articulation, and there is toe articulation. And you can see how loose these legs are because of the ball joints. Now, in terms of thigh swivel, they do work. So there's that. But it's kind of pointless when the legs are not going to have much mobility because of the hindrance up here. And that's pretty much all the articulation on this figure. And now let's do some comparisons. I'm going to put him right here, and I'm going to get him to hold his grapple launcher. I don't have a gun accessory out right now that's handy. Oh, wait, actually I do. I take that back. Let me give him a gun, because we do have a figure that came with one. So let me show what he looks like holding a proper gun in his hand, because the Arkham Knight uses that as his primary weapon. So there you go. This is what he looks like holding a handgun. So that's an option right there. All right, let's put him right there. So the first figure that I have to bring in for comparisons, of course, is the Arkham Knight Batman. And here are the two of them together. And even though the source material for this Arkham Knight figure is based on something different, they do go good together on the shelf. So if you have this Arkham Knight Batman figure, this is probably one heck of a shelf right there. So there is that. And of course, here he is next to the Red Hood figure that they released. So if you played the DLC, you would know that he becomes the Red Hood by the end of the video game, and he changes his costume entirely. And there are the two of them together. Now, this would have been awesome if they made the Red Hood version of this costume. Because in the boss fight, when his mask breaks off, the colors on his suit change. And the only company that has made a figure for the Arkham Knight that has literally incorporated that into the design, where you can swap the armor pieces and stuff, is the amazing Yamaguchi version, which I want so bad, but it's so freaking expensive. I think it's around like 100 something or 200 something. I don't remember the price, but it's way out of my price point. So, but if you have that figure, man, you're lucky, because I want that one so bad. So, and now let's bring in some other DC Multiverse figures that have nothing to do with the Arkham games. Here he is next to Deadshot, who we will be looking at on Friday. So there's that. And here he is next to the wacky Batman, as I like to call this, because I have no clue why this Batman looks the way he does and why he carries a gun and holds a freaking hook weapon. Alright, and that is all the comparisons. And I hope you found today's review for the Arkham Knight enjoyable. I thought it was pretty fun to talk about this figure, and I really wanted to, because this was one that was on my list of figures that I wanted to cover, and I think overall it's not a bad figure in terms of the sculpt, but in terms of the overall design, yeah, it's kind of strange that it's not based on the video game, it's based on whatever else they took it from, so yeah, if there is a chance that we can still get another version of the Arkham Knight as a repaint with the correct colors, that would be awesome, but that's being way too hopeful. Alright, if you found today's review enjoyable, do give this video a like. If you want to subscribe to the channel for more action figure content and whatever else I do on here, you can. You don't have to. In the end of the day, I make these videos for fun. And with that said, take care, and I will see you in the next video.